Hello and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and this time around I'm going to talk in English, as you may already have noticed. So let's start with the three games we are going to show you in this case, and that is Trap Adventure, Goblin's Way Jigsaw's Challenge and Kart 2. My name is Gerald, and as always I have a small little setup going on here which contains of a mouse, of course, which is an ARC mouse in this case. I'm going to use the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard here, as my main input device for keyboard input, of course. And there is a game in this episode which can be played with the Xbox One wireless controller as a gamepad. Yeah, and of course these are all Bluetooth devices, and the devices can be connected to my smartphone, which is this smartphone here. It's a Lumia 950 XL I have here. On the back there is a Mozo cover, of course. You already know about all of that. And it has a USB-C connector at the bottom, and with this USB-C connector I can, for example, connect my smartphone to this display dock which is standing on the side here, and like that I can produce this big screen GUI here, which is more or less produced by the smartphone to this display, going through the display dock, of course, with an HDMI cable and stuff like that. And after that, this can be shown on the big screen here. If you want to know more about that and what Continuum, that is what all of this is called, is all about, please have a look at the corner up there. There is a video where I'm going to describe that in more details than I am doing it now. Yeah, and so let's start with the first game. The first game is Trap Adventure. So for that I'm just going to click on my all apps list here, going to go to that part and inputting Trap. That's normally enough, of course. And now I can just click on Trap Adventure, and Trap Adventure is more or less a small little jump and run game, very equal to, for example, something like Super Mario or something like that. And it's really a big pity that it cannot be played with a gamepad, so I'm not going to use the Xbox One wireless controller in this case, but I'm going to use my keyboard as the main input device here, and I'm going to switch my position a little bit, because otherwise I'm just not able to play this game. And yeah, so let's see what we can do. We are just going to get rid of the bar at the bottom here, and then I can just click on play. I'm using the WARS keys on my keyboard here to control my characters. So if I, for example, hit the W key, it will jump, and I can click on it longer, then it will jump higher. And of course with R and A you can move your character around, and that is more or less all you have to know at the start at least about this game, because now we can just jump around with our little character. I think it's looking a little bit like Kirby or something. And as you can see, we can just jump on our enemies here. You really have to be very careful, because I'm not sure if we are going to become bigger or something like in, for example, Super Mario in future. Well, yeah, as you can see, you're going to die with the first contact you are making with an enemy. So jump on it, that's fine for most of the enemies. For example, the one which is running up on this platform there, you shouldn't jump on that neither. And after that, just go on and play this little Kirby character or whatever, like that. Be very careful, because the enemies are not always moving in the same speed, as you can see with our enemy at this point there. It's going to change the speed it is moving around. So it is faster on the way back, for example. And you really should have a look at that, because it's much harder to predict how fast the enemy will go like that. So get out of the way, kill it very fast, or do something like that. The enemy on the top there, the orange or yellow one, is going to kill you if you are going to jump on it, so don't jump on that one. And other than that, just try to go on, jump around, get out of the way of the enemies or kill them. And of course you shouldn't drop down to anything like water or the hole in the ground or something like that. And the flag we just got is more or less a safety point, so if you got to that, everything is fine. Here you can see, for example, that there are traps, so this is why the name is there of the game. And these traps, for example, are going to go away, so if you're running over this bridge more or less, you should be fast with that, because otherwise you are going to drown into water, and or drown in the water. And of course you shouldn't touch the bird here, for example, neither, because otherwise he will kill you too. So let's see if we can run through this very fast. No, as you can see, it's very hard to go over that, so jump over it and of course avoid the enemy. The bad thing about it, as you can see, is that if once you did that wrong and you want to play on in this level, everything will be gone. That means, for example, in this case we have a good situation or bad situation, whatever you want to call it, because the enemies, little octopus type of characters or whatever, are no longer available here, because they already got killed because they could jump down into water, or maybe they wanted to go there, whatever. And like that we have it a little bit easier, but the bad thing about it, there's no bridge anymore, so we really have to be very, very precise when we jump over that. And of course the bird character is still occupying us there, so we should have a look at the bird character first, kill that one, and now let's see if we can jump over that gap. Yeah, we can, and seems like we got it this time around. Now we can just jump over that, go to this part. There is, for example, another enemy we didn't see before now, and it's running very, very fast over this kind of part there, and it's very possible that you, for example, need to jump on one of those. And now, as you can see, we solved the second level. This is the second level already. There is the first one, which is just a little bit boring. Because of that, I didn't want to show you that one. And yeah, this is more or less a game. As I said before, a small little jump and run game, very nicely done. And just play it if you want to play this kind of game. It's really a nice one for what it is. So, let's have a look at the second game we are going to see in this episode. And the second game is more or less a puzzle game, or better to say, a very, very classic puzzle game. And I really like it because, I have to reposition my keyboard here. I really like it because it is very, very nicely drawn, for example. Like that. I'm just not seeing it, so go with Goblin. That should do it. There it is. It is really, really a nicely drawn part. It has its own style, I think. I like that very much of it. And as you can see, here we are. So, this is more or less a puzzle game, a classic puzzle more or less. So you are going to put different pieces together to form some kind of an image, of course. And there are different things you have to do, different levels more or less. So you can go over here, choose one of the levels. And as you can see, it's Goblin. Goblin themed more or less. So the game is called Goblin's Way Jigaw Challenge, of course, so it has to be. And it's really a nice little game for everybody who wants to do some kind of puzzle. It's going to work with touch, and it's going to work with your mouse. It doesn't really matter what you are using here. So I want to show you the first level more or less. As you can see, I already played it once, and this is more or less just an image. You can see it like this, and you have to put the pieces together. And this is all that is all that about. So I'm going to click on play here. And as you can see, there are more or less scores. So as you can see, there's somebody who solved this level here in the smallest part or smallest time, for example. And as you can see, my best time with this first Danen puzzle, whatever you want to call that, is 3 minutes and 7.3 seconds as it seems. And I can, for example, just go with the next one now, or I could, for example, just go with the first one. It really doesn't matter much, it's all the same kind of game. So I'm going to play the first one again, probably. Yeah, why not? Click on it. And yeah, what you can see here is we have different kind of things here. For example, we have high score, of course, we have a point number, we have a bonus time. So if you are going to solve this faster than you should, then you get a bonus time for that. We have this round part. Round is more or less just if you got all the parts away which are showing here, because you can now just grab them, put them somewhere, and now of course you can see the grayish background image here, which is more or less the image you have to put on here again. It's not at this point where it is. There it is. And then you just put the different parts on that and just try to solve it like that. And it really is not much more than this. So if you don't like this kind of puzzle game, you are probably not liking this. But it's really nicely done. There is this kind of Irish folk music or whatever in the background. I like that too. And it's really great images you are going to create here or do here. Very nicely done. I really like the whole style of it. And now you're just going to try to solve this image. It's not extremely hard, but it's not that easy neither. So in some cases you're going to have a harder time than the others. As you can see, you can move around your puzzle parts here from time to time to see if, for example, you can find something else if you're, for example, stuck with one of the images here. This, for example, is quite hard if you ask me, but this seems to be right. Yeah, of course. There, for example, is this little owl here, which can be put here, of course, so it's helping us like that. And now let's see where this should be put. Probably over here, because there is this kind of barrel there. We want to close down here like that. And this is more or less all which is about this game. So if you like this kind of puzzle game, then try it. It really is a nice one. You see, all the time we are going to have this 3 or 4 or 5 puzzle parts here. It's a new round. So let's see where the next part is. For example, there has to be one of the belts here. So one of the smaller belts, as I can see it, and probably it's not that one. Let's see where that is. Can't really see it at the moment. I think not that one, not here. So let's see if we can put it somewhere. It's over here. Okay. You don't have to hit the real perfect position for that, but you should be in the same area, of course. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense to do that kind of game. But it really is a nice little game. So if you like this kind of part here, or this kind of game here, just try it out. It is really a nice one and should be quite entertaining for you then. So there we have, for example, that kind of guy, but it's here, over here. Let's see where we have to put this one. Here. This is of course one of the corners here. Okay, use this one probably at this point, yeah. Then we have this part at this point, and we are close to solving this now. Not too many parts left. Not at this point. I find it harder to find the parts after that, because now it's really hard to distinguish where the... Is it that one? No. Where there are gray parts anymore and where there are not. But I think it's here. Okay, this one has to be at the bottom, of course, like that one. This one is very easy because there is this face on it, and now we are more or less through. Yeah, and after that we more or less got that task here, so now we can go on with the next task and do it over and over again, be faster with it, get higher in the score, of course. As you can see, we are at place 25 for this first task we did here, and you can of course get better and better with that. And you will be shown in the high score we already saw before. At this point, so as you can see here, we are 25th of this kind of part. There are more like that, and there are just different guys who played this, or girls of course, and you just have to compete with them. Yeah, so if you like this kind of puzzle game, please have a look at this game. It really is a fun one, and it's really nicely done, as you can see. There's nice music in the background, the images are really nicely drawn, I really like it, and yeah, just try it out, it's fun. So, just one little information here. There is a little part which is not showing in this part, so it's German of course, and German has some kind of special characters like an Ü, which is an UE, and it's different other special characters, and those are not really showing up here. It's not a bigger thing, and you can easily play this game in any way. If you are, for example, in another language which is translated and they have special charts, you probably will not see them neither, but it really doesn't matter all too much because it's all about puzzling here, so just play it. And if you're of course going to go with an English version of this game, you won't have any kind of problems anyway. Okay, so I can click on the options here once for a while. You see it's really very nicely done, very beautiful. Drawings in here, I really like them. And of course there are a couple of things to set up here. For example, you can shut down the push notifications, for example, if you don't want them, so the toast notifications of the system here. And of course you can, for example, get rid of the background music if you don't like it or something, but I really like it, so I would suggest to keep it in. So let's have a look at the last game in this episode. And the last game in this episode is Poppy Kart 2, and we already played Poppy Kart part 1, whatever, in a couple of episodes back, and I wanted to show you Poppy Kart 2 because it's just cool and very nicely to be played too. It's more or less what you already know from Poppy Kart, but in space. So, they had a little bit of... I will move, turn around of course, because Poppy Kart is really one of the games you should play using the Xbox One wireless controller on and a good view of the situation you are playing in here. And so let's go to that first. And of course, it's easier for me to just put it in here. So Poppy Kart. There you can see this is a game we played a couple of episodes back. And now we are going to go with more or less UFOs or whatever. So some kind of spaceships here. I'm going to use the Xbox One wireless controller, as I told you before, to play this. This is Xbox Live enabled, so you can, for example, play this on different machines, and all the different achievements you did and stuff like that are going to be shared between the machines there. And I really like this game for just being able to play it. It's more or less like Super Mario Kart, of course, like Poppy Kart 1, of course, but this time around you're going to play it with spaceships. They have a small little story behind it. So first I have to click here. Now, for example, I can just move around my cursor here. It's a little bit hard to navigate, if you ask me, but it can be done with only the Xbox One wireless controller at this point. And there you can see they have, for example, the Poppy Kart 1 if you want to play that, but we want to play Poppy Kart 2 here. First off, I want to go to the... come on. Yeah, I find it too hard. I'm going to use my mouse for that. Going to option. You can of course do it with this too. It really doesn't matter, but it's a little bit harder. So in the options you can, for example, do different things here, like resetting the stuff, going to another language and stuff like that. Using, of course, different kind of controls, like touch, like the keyboard, of course, and like the Xbox One wireless controller or whatever. And just use whatever you want. You are asked what you want to use when you are playing. So first off, just use this. I think if I click on it, there it is. You have to use the accessories, I think it's called in English. So just use this gamepad, of course, so use this. And otherwise you can of course use this kind of play here too, but I really like that. It's a good idea to put the vibration off, because otherwise the game is a little bit less playable, if you ask me. So use that. Now this is more or less how difficult the game is going to be. I'm going to use dynamic. You can, for example, use expert too, but I'm going to use dynamic. And now you can choose your player. I'm going to use Poppy in this case, and of course you can use one of the others later on, because there is this little lock icon now, I can't use them. For that you really have to just get some kind of achievements. So let's have a look at the first game. You can see there is this little prologue more or less. I'm going to click on that, and as you can see there she is. It's a little frog here more or less, somewhere in Poppyland, and she is going to chat with somebody in a chat room, or better to say on a dating site, and she found somebody for frogs there. And now she wants to meet him in a restaurant for that, the Bug Lunch, which is, as it seems, the most fancy restaurant you can have there. So she wants to go there, of course, and yeah, she's going to try to sneak out for that. But her dad, Poppy, more or less, at the back you can see him. He seems to be more or less, yeah, he noticed that. And she's going to try to steal the saucer now. She gets away with it. And of course Poppy is informed about that. And the problem with that is that the daughter is now going to leave the planet for that. And so he is calling all his friends more or less to get all the people here to get the daughter of Froggy here back. And because of that, he's calling all the friends, and he is giving them some kind of a reward. So more or less a ticket to a very popular park to go to. And yeah, like that, all the guys are going to chase the daughter now to find her and get her back for Froggy, who of course wants her back. So, and what you have to do now is just go through all the different racings, which are more or less like Super Mario Kart before, but in space. And now just go to the second round here, to a neutron run, click on that one, and let's play it. Yeah, and here we are this kind of blue teddy bear style character there. And I'm of course using the Xbox One wireless controller now to move around and play this game. There are different power-ups on the bottom. As you can see, it's more or less the same we already saw from many different other games here. That was, for example, very hard to counter. Oops, wrong button. Sorry. Very hard to counter part there, because there are power-ups on the ground, and one of them is to change position with another player. Somebody got that and got me back to the last point, which is a little bit hard. There is this lottery kind of style where I get all the different parts there. I'm not sure if it's this one, maybe even, or if it's just making me faster or something. But you just have to go on now and try to get all the other guys. It's a little bit unfair that I got that really hard to counter one at the start. And of course I'm using all of these just in case that I'm going to go over other points here, because if you are going to go over this kind of part on the ground there, the sticker, you can, for example, get a new one. Now I'm at least getting one of the guys who are before me. Probably I'm going to get the Mexico guy, whatever. At least that one. And now I just got off the track, of course. Now I have another good one, which is more or less that you are very, very slow. Or that is to say, everybody else is very slow, but you are not. But as you can see, I couldn't get to the end there because of this very, very hard to counter. At the start, the very, very hard to counter, whatever you want to call it. It's some kind of a weapon, more or less. But yes, this is more or less a game, so just try it out. It's going to be much, much fun. It's very, very like, for example, Super Mario Kart or something like that. You are driving around on this kind of space parts here, trying to be faster than everybody else. There are boosters on the ground, as you can see. You will have these power-ups on the ground. Everybody else has them too, so it's hard to counter them, as you may have noticed in this case. And like that, have a look at it, it's really fun, and I hope you have fun with it. Yeah, so I'm just leaving that game now because we are at the end of the episode, and this episode is already quite long, and I don't want to make it as long as the last one, so let's just stop here. And I hope you had one or two games which are really more or less like your style and you want to play them. Try them out, they are available in the Windows Store, of course. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening, have a nice day, have a nice week. We are going to see us in the next episode, which is going to be more or less on Saturday or Sunday next week. And I hope you have fun till then, and yeah. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Of course, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked the episode. And of course, if you are not subscribed till now, you should do that now. It's a button right below you. And if you have any kind of questions or want to tell something to us, just leave a comment in the comments below. So have fun with that and see you soon. Bye bye, thanks for listening.